Hi, I'm Sarah and welcome to CoreMoodz. Today I'll be talking to you about my end of year survey. In this survey, I'm going to answer questions that are going to help me look back at 2025, especially at my reading year. I'm really curious about what my answer will be to a lot of the questions. This survey was made by Jamie from Perpetual Page Turner. I removed a couple of the questions that I thought were not relevant. Very excited to start answering those questions. So I'm just going to start with a couple of things. First of all, the number of books I've read in 2025. The total number at this moment is 134 books. That's 40,417 pages read, and my average rating was a 3.7. The first question is the best book I read in 2025. Without even thinking about it, Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. I think that book is not only a 5-star book for me, it's also a book that I have not let go since the moment I've read it. I keep thinking about it. It was very horrific, but also very beautiful. So it's like, very intense experience. And I think even though I've tried to read less extreme horror, I think if it's done this way, I think I can really enjoy it. Definitely a book I would recommend, but I can't recommend it without saying you have to read the trigger warnings list because it's a very intense and almost traumatizing reading experience. So the second question is a book I was really excited for, but I didn't end up enjoying. I would say Sour Candy by Natalie Theodorido. And I think I really had high hopes for this book and didn't go the way I wanted it to go. So that was a little bit sad. But I will read from Natalie Theodorido because the writing was okay. I think I really liked the writing. Most surprising book I've read in 2025, I would have to say Walking Practice by Document. I didn't know what I was gonna go into because all I knew it was like an alien dropped on Earth, and I really like those kind of stories. And by looking at the cover, I just knew it. I think it's horror, but I didn't expect how disgusting it was gonna be. And on the other side, the very mindful and interesting tackling of a lot of themes like gender, like the way the alien was looking at the humans, the spontaneous thoughts that they were having. I just really was loving every page of it. So books I pushed others to read. I would say 2 books. The Lamb by Lucy, I think it's Lucy Rose. This book I really loved it. Was a very quiet and sad story, and it went from bad to extreme. So I really loved this book, and I really told and recommended to others to read. And most of the people hated it, but I loved it. And also Avenues by Train. This one had a little bit more success. And I really loved Avenues by Train. It's a very interesting story about a young man in Harare and living his lives and the demons and the nightmares that he had to carry with him into adulthood and how his life is. I really love this book. It was I think everyone should read Avenues by Train because I was very surprised to see that it had almost no ratings. I think it has less than 400 ratings on Goodreads. So to anyone watching, please read Avenues by Train by Farai Mudzingwa. The 5th question is has a little bit more questions in it. It says best series you started in 2025, best sequel, best series ender. So I would say best series that I started is The Tainted Cop. I think this book series was very interesting. I really loved the world and the writing and how it had a little bit of a Sherlock Holmes vibe, but also completely different. And I liked the fantastical element. I really love this book. And the best sequel, I would also say the same series. The second book, A Drop of Corruption, was a little bit different than the first one, and we got a little bit more information. So I really love this book. And a series ender, I think I have a couple of different options. Parable of the Talents by Octavia A. Butler, Mirrored Heavens by Rebecca Rowanhorse, and School of Sharks by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. I think those 3 were really strong series ends. Favorite authors I discovered in 2025, I would have to say Parini Shroff and Yuketsu. I read The Bandit Queens from Parini Shroff, and I'm really anticipating the book that's coming out next year. I think Some People, I think it's called. I really love their writing and the way they described the town and the people and the interactions, and I really loved this book. And both books I read by Yuketsu I really liked. I really think the way that Yuketsu writes is very interesting, and I really loved both books in different ways. So the 7th question, best book from a genre I don't typically read, and for that I picked Snow Crash by Neil Stevenson, and I really love this book. It's cyberpunk, and I thought I read some cyberpunk books, but it's not a genre I reach for a lot, or it's a subgenre, and I was really surprised by this book. It's it's like Neil Stephenson looked into the future and could predict everything that was going to happen, how we use internet today, how communities online are communicating online. Internet culture, I think he had like a good prediction to how it was going to be like. And I really like the linguistics and also historical elements he was reaching for and trying to connect. The 8th question is, what is the most action-packed, thrilling and put-downable book of the year? I would say The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. I'm picking this book not because this book is an action book, but because this book has such a interesting plot line, and also the way it was weaved together. It was very intricate, very well thought of, but it's like you hit the ground running from the first page. So I really like this book, and there were so many twists, so many shifts, so many changes. So really love this book. A book I read in 2025 that you would be most likely to reread next year. I think the book that I would really love to reread is Toward Eternity by Anton Hur, because this book was very philosophical. It was a lot about being and autonomy and why are we human, and I really like the themes and the way they were tackled, and some parts were very abstract. So I think I want to reread it and just annotate and ponder a little bit on the way and the questions this author was asking us through the book. Favorite covers of 2025, I think I have two: Hell Followed With Us from Andrew Joseph White, and Don't Let the Forest In by CJ Drews. Both of the covers are very interesting and beautiful, and also a little bit scary, maybe a little bit gruesome, but I just like the combination between the two aspects, something being very beautiful but also being very gruesome. Most memorable character, I would say Mickey Barnes from Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. I really like this character. He was he was a little bit dumb, but also there was something very interesting about the way he was doing things and trying to survive and trying to outmaneuver, and something earnest, and also I just really liked. I don't think I can compare him to anyone else, but I really liked the character, and I also liked the movie Mickey 17. Not just because it was directed by Bong Joon-ho, but because I really liked Robert Pattinson's his interpretation of the character. So I really liked. This is a character that I was really fascinated by. Books that had beautiful writing. I would say there are two books: The Blue Book of Nebo by Manon Stephen Rowe, and A Game in Yellow by Hailey Piper. The Blue Book of Nebo, I think it's a YA, but both of the books have very beautiful writing, very otherworldly. There's a little bit of a distance between the main character and the person reading the book. I like when there's a little bit of a distance, a little bit of coldness. Most thought-provoking books I read in 2025, or books that are life-changing. I have two books, I think, Necropolitics by Ashley Membe and What You Are Looking For Is in the Library by Michiko Aoyama. And those two books are completely different. Necropolitics is a book that I read and my mind was like exploding every page. And when I finished Necropolitics, I thought, this author is like 100% inspired by Frantz Fanon. And when I read books from Frantz Fanon, that was even more mind-blowing. And most of those books are like about colonization, about race, about class, about a lot of topics that intertwine and intermingle with the way we live our lives today, the place of capitalism. So it's like there's a lot of themes that are very important, and I think Necropolitics is a book that I would recommend anyone to read. What You Are Looking For Is in the Library by Michiko Aoyama is more of a book that I would give anyone that is questioning their place in life, feeling stuck, not knowing how to solve something. I think this book gives you a new look at the situation, and that the way you think the way out is from where you are is not necessarily the only way. So I think that book is very interesting when it comes to trying to look in a different way to your life and see if you can change things, or what are the things that are worth something in your life. I really loved this book. So the genre I read most in 2025 is horror, which I kind of expected. Yeah, I really love horror. I don't think that's something I want to change. It's like I'm okay with the horror being the genre I read most from. And the genre I read least from is romance. And I'm kind of fine with that because I feel like romance, I do like romance now and then, and I like romance interweaving into stories, but I'm not just a pure romance reader. And I think that's okay. So the shortest book I read and the longest book I read. The longest book is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, and the shortest is Lady Windermere's Fan by Oscar Wilde. The book that shocked me the most in 2025, I would have to say Incidents Around the House by Josh Mallerman. That book was diabolical. It was very scary, and there's like a certain bathroom scene. I think everyone will remember that scene was like terrifying. A book that put a smile on my face. I think Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, which is kind of a weird answer, I know. I really like the heartwarming way everyone was like connecting and coming together. So that put a smile on my face. The book that made me cry or nearly cry, I would have to say The Lamp by Lucy Rose. The last scene, if anyone read the book, you would know what I mean. That was like very sad. Books that had amazing world building, vivid settings. I think The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. This book was like impeccable. It was an amazing way this author created this world, and there were like layers, and it was I really, really liked the way this world building was created. Favorite novella? I would say Murder by Memory by Olivia Wade. This one was a little bit of a sci-fi detective story, very short. And Psychopomp and Circumstances by Eden Royce. I talked about this earlier. It's like, I really loved this book. I really like the theme of like helping a loved one pass on to the next life. The rituals, the ceremony, I really like that aspect. Authors I read the most from: Samantha Shannon. Yeah, because I read all the Priory of Orange, The Fallen Night, and also the Burning Flowers. Favorite audiobook narrators? I would have to say The River Has Roots by Amal Mokhtar was narrated by Jem Carmela. I really liked Jem's voice. It was really, it fitted the story. And I would have to say Emily Wu Zeller. I just finished Vagabond, and I really loved the audiobook. And I discovered that the narrator, Emily Wu Zeller, also did This Is How You Lose the Timer and the Poppy War trilogy. Both books I really liked. And This Is How You Lose the Timer is like a book that is, I really love this book. What is a hidden gem of the year? I would say Avenues by Train by Farai Mudzingwa. This book's amazing. Only has 400 ratings on Goodreads. Everyone should read it. The one book I didn't get to in 2025 that I really want to and make the priority in 2026 is All That We See or Seem by Ken Liu. I really want to tackle this book, and I didn't in 2025, and it's going to be like top of my list to tackle this year. The 25th question for my 2025 survey, end of year survey, is what books that will be released in 2026 are you anticipating most? The third and last book in the Tainted Cup series by Robert Jackson Bennett. I think this third book is a book that I'm really anticipating because I like the first and second book. The new Taylor Adams, Her Last Breath. I'm really anticipating this book. I really liked Taylor Adams' other books. The Caretaker by Marcus Clearweir. I really liked the other Marcus Clearweir book that I think I read this year. We Used to Live Here. It was a very interesting book. Chuck Tingle's coming out with a book. I'm really anticipating his new book. And Parini Shroff is also coming out with a new book. Some people. Overall, I think I had a really good reading year. I really loved a lot of books, and I really pushed myself to tackle new genres and also tackle a lot of books that I wouldn't usually tackle. How did your 2025 reading year go like? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and bye.